Hello my friends, in today's discussion we are going to start another example of welded connection. Already I have covered number of examples of welded as well as bolted connections of steel structure. If you have not seen the videos, you can check the description box of this video. Also the link will be available at the I button. So let's start the example 4. Determine the maximum load that can be resisted by the bracket as shown in the figure by fillet weld of size 6 mm if it is shock welding. See, the connection given in the question is a eccentric connection because the load acting on the bracket is not passing through the CG of the section, which is Z. It is at some distance from the CG line, which is called the eccentricity. That's why the connection is an eccentric connection. So let's start the solution part. The given data, partial safety factor, which is gamma MW, it is 1.25 for shock weld. So it has taken from table number 5 of IS 800 2007. Next, size of the fillet weld, which is given in the question, it is 6 mm. Therefore effective throat thickness small t. So if you follow the clause number 10.5.3.2 of IS 800, it is given that the effective throat thickness shall be taken as K times the fillet size. That means small t equal to K into S. Then K is a constant depending on angle between fusion faces as given in table number 22. So the value of K is given in table 22. So in this case also the fusion faces is, the angle between the fusion faces is 90 degree. So K is taken as 0.7. So effective throat thickness is 0.7 S. So finally small t is 4.2 mm. This is the effective throat thickness for the fillet weld. Now total area of the weld. If you see, this is the area of the weld. Okay, so its length is 140 plus 320 plus again this is 140. This is the total length of the weld. So it is like this. It is like a channel section, okay, which we commonly use in our steel design. It is like a channel section, okay. The top and bottom arm is 140 and its vertical part is 320. So this is the length of the weld. So with the length of the weld, if I multiply the effective throat thickness, I will get the total area of the weld, which is 2520 mm square. Next, due to symmetry, the centroidal x-axis is at the mid height of the vertical weld. See, if I draw only the welding part of the bracket, so it is in the form of one channel, which I already told you. So its centroidal x-axis will be at the mid height. That means if its total vertical height is 320, okay, This centroidal axis will be at a distance of 160 from the both edge, from what top and bottom 160, because this welding part of the bracket is symmetrical about this x-axis, but remember it is not symmetrical about y-axis, which is yy. Now let centroidal yy axis be at a distance x bar from the vertical weld. So let us consider from the vertical part of the weld it is at a distance of x bar. So we have to calculate this x bar. Means x bar is the distance from the vertical weld to the centroidal yy axis. So if I have to calculate x bar, this is xx, this is yy, and this distance is x bar. Okay, distance of the vertical yy axis from the vertical weld. So this is the vertical weld. Okay, so from the vertical weld the distance of yy axis we have to calculate. So x bar equal, see the vertical weld is passing through this line. Okay, so distance of the vertical weld from this line will be 0. So no need to consider this vertical weld to calculate the x bar. Instead of, we have to consider the horizontal weld at the bottom as well as at the top. So the area of the horizontal weld for the top, it is 140 into 4.2. So why 140? This dimension is 140 in this case. Okay, so for this horizontal portion of the weld, its own yy axis will be here, which is at a distance 70 from its extreme edges. See, this y dash is the yy axis only for that horizontal part. Okay, so first I shall calculate the area of that horizontal part, and it will be multiplied by the distance of the centroidal axis of the horizontal part, means horizontal part of the weld from the vertical weld. That means this distance I have to multiply into 70. Okay, and then this is for the top, this is the top portion of the weld, top horizontal portion of the weld, and for the bottom horizontal portion of the weld the case is same, because both are symmetrical, top horizontal part of the weld as well as the bottom horizontal part of the weld. So we can directly multiply it by 2, and this is divided by total area of the weld, which is 2520. So finally we shall get the value of x bar, which is calculated as 32.67 mm. Next I have to calculate the moment of inertia about x axis and then about y axis. If I see the figure here, to calculate moment of inertia Ixx, see about this axis I have to calculate moment of inertia, that is Ixx. So first I shall consider the vertical part of the weld. So this is how much? BD cube by 12, 1 by 12 into here B will be 4.2. This is B, means size of the weld, which is 4.2. 4.2 into here depth is depth is 320. So D is 320. This is for the vertical portion of the weld. And next for the horizontal portion of the weld. For the horizontal portion, the B is 140. The brace is 140 because we are calculating about y-axis. So along the y direction it will give us B. It is 140. So it is multiplied by 140 into depth. So here that depth is this much, 4.2. So 4.2 cube. And this is same for both top and bottom weld. So it is multiplied by 2. Plus if you see, for this vertical part its own x-axis and the overall x-axis of the weld is same. Okay, so no need to modify the value of this one. But in case of the horizontal part of the weld, its own x-axis is this one for bottom and this one for the top, and there at some particular distance from the overall x-axis, this distance is 160. So that's why according to parallel axis theorem, it will be multiplied by, it should some part we have to add, that is area into distance square. This distance is in between x-axis of the weld from the overall x-axis of the weld. Okay, means x-axis of the horizontal part of the weld from the overall part of the weld, which is 160 in this case. So area of the weld is 140 into 4.2 and it is multiplied by 160 square, and this is also valid for both top and bottom weld, so it is multiplied by 2. Okay, so this is the moment of inertia of the weld about x-axis. But if you notice, this value will be very small. Why very small? Because we are taking the cube of 4.2, okay, which is a very small value. So this part also we can omit. We can omit this part. Okay, that's why in IXX this part is not written. Okay, so if I omit that part which give very small value, we can get IXX as 41574400 mm to the power 4. Next, I have to calculate the moment of inertia about y-axis, which is IYY. In this case, this is the y-axis, YY. Okay, so for that case, first of all I shall calculate the moment of inertia of the vertical part. So in this case, 1 by 12 into BD cube. So now for the vertical part, the B will be 320. B is the dimension of that element along the axis. So this is y-axis, this is y-axis, so along the axis its dimension is 320. So B is 320 and its vertical direction, its perpendicular direction is 4.2. So 4.2 we have to cube. So 1 by 12 into 320 into 4.2 cube. Okay, plus See, now for the vertical part, its x-axis is this one. Sorry, its y-axis, own y-axis is this one. Okay, and the overall y-axis is the other one. So its distance between overall y-axis of the wheel and its own y-axis is x bar, which already we have calculated. Okay, so here also you have to use parallel theorem, parallel axis theorem, which is area into r square. What is the area? 320 into 4.2 into r square. R is the x bar square. X bar is how much? 32.67. 32.67 square. Okay, so here also we have to use parallel axis theorem, because y axis of the vertical weld is not same the y axis of the overall weld. Then again go to the horizontal part of the weld. First, BD cube by 12, 1 by 12 into B. B is the dimension along the direction of y axis. Here it is 4.2 for the horizontal part of the weld, 4.2, and its perpendicular direction is 140. So 140 cube plus, here also we have to use parallel axis theorem, because this is the y axis of the horizontal part, so it has some distance. This is the distance, this is r. So what is the area? Area is 140 into 4.2 into this distance. See, that distance we can calculate. We know about the x bar and we know this distance is 70. Okay, so it is multiplied by 70 minus, what is the value of x bar? 32.67 square. Again, from here to there we have calculated moment of inertia of the horizontal part of the weld for the top or for the bottom. So if I multiply it by 2, I shall get for both top and bottom. So here also, if you notice, we have a term which has 4.2 cube. This is also very small term, because 4.2 is very small compared to the other dimensions, and we have taken cube of 4.2, so we can omit this term. So here also we can omit this term and we can calculate this part. So in this way I have calculated IYY and the value has comes out as 4994080 mm to the power 4. Next we have calculated second moment of inertia, IZZ, or sometimes it is called polar moment of inertia also. It is the summation of moment of inertia about x-axis as well as the moment of inertia of the about y-axis, and after summation I shall get 46568480 mm to the power 4. Next I have to calculate R max. So what is the R max? It is the distance of extreme weld from the CG of the group. So this is the CG of the group. Okay, and this distance, this is the extreme point of the weld, and this distance is called R max. Okay, we know this distance. This is this distance I know. This is x bar or 32.67. So this distance is 140 minus 32.67, and this vertical distance is 160. So by using Pythagoras theorem, root over 160 square plus 140 minus 32.67 whole square. So Rmax as calculated as 192.66 mm. Okay. Next, tan theta we have to calculate. Tan theta is this one. This is the tan theta, equal 160 divided by 140 minus 32.67, and theta has been calculated as 56.15 degree. Now eccentricity of load from the center of gravity of the wheel, E equal, as I told you at the beginning of the question, that this is the eccentricity. Okay, this x bar we have calculated. So eccentricity E will be, this is 240 plus 140 minus x bar. 140 minus x bar. What is the value of x bar? 32.67. So this is the value of E. So eccentricity has comes out as 347.33 mm. Next, let P be the maximum load resisted by the bracket in kilonewton. So in question you have to calculate the unknown P. Okay, so it is assumed as in kilonewton. Now direct shear stress Q1 means P by 2520, and P is converted into Newton by multiplying by 1000. So finally it is 0.3968 P Newton per mm square. So remember, this is the total area of the weld, means external force P by the area, total area of the weld will give us the direct shear stress Q1. Next, shear stress at extreme edge due to torsional moment. Why we will get the torsional moment? Because of the eccentricity, as the load P is acting away from the CG line of the wheel. That's why we will get one eccentricity, and due to eccentricity this torsional moment will occur. So Q2 we have to calculate. Q2 is P into E into Rmax by IZZ. So IZZ we have calculated. P we have assumed P into 1000 converted into Newton. Eccentricity we have calculated 347.33. Then Rmax we have already calculated 192.66. So finally Q2 is 1.4370 P Newton per m square. So resultant stress root over of Q1 square plus Q2 square twice Q1 Q2 cos theta. So if I take P common from all the values, so finally we shall get 1.69046 P. This is the resultant stress. Next, we have to calculate the design strength of the weld, which is FWD. It is given in the clause 10.5.7.1.1 of IS 800-2007. FWD equal FWN by gamma MW. Again FWN is replaced by FU by root over 3. So this is our final formula. So if I put the values of FU, which is 410, gamma MW it is 1.25, so I shall get design strength of the weld as 189.37 Newton per mm square. So now equating maximum stress to strength of the weld. Strength of the weld is 189.37 and maximum stress or maximum resultant stress is this much, isn't it, which is 1.69046 P. So by solving this equation we will get P equal 112 kilonewton. So this is the external load that can be resisted by the bracket for the given size of the weld. So this is how we can determine the maximum load from the given weld in a bracket connection. Thanks for watching the video. If you have liked the video, please share and subscribe. If you have any doubt, you can comment me at the comment section or you can mail me to my personal mail ID. Thank you.